Yes, Gasheads, and welcome back to Gas Fan TV, the channel that keeps you locked in with all things Bristol Rovers. I always have to start that intro positively, but I'm feeling anything but positive at the minute. Another loss, Peterborough 3-2. Just capitulation again. I don't know what it is in the first 20, 30 minutes. We just look absolutely bubs. Teams are getting goals against us like this. And then by the time we start to actually look decent, maybe in the second half, it's far too late because we can't really recoup the loss or how many goals they've actually scored. I mean, we scored 2 away at Peterborough, but yet we still lose 3-2. Listen, the subs actually changed that game. I thought Maka, O'Donker, Thomas, I mean, even Ford, they played really well. We had a few chances. We could have actually got something from that game, which, if you would have said to me at the half-time, how has that thought even entered your brain? Again, lackluster. I love that word, lackluster. I keep saying it. Lackluster, firing blanks. I mean, the last 20 minutes, we looked decent. I mean, Ford is going to rue that miss. I mean, it really could have changed it, but just, we can't defend, and the individual errors that are on show at the minute are honestly just a joke. It's like you look back a month ago and you think, oh, we're in a pretty nice position in league. 3 losses on the bounce, bang, sends us right down. We're like 20th. I mean, players that don't score many for posh were chipping in with goals. Yeah, man. We were absolutely pants. Absolutely terrible. But listen, we look to Saturday. Wycombe Wanderers. I hear a lot of people saying to me, oh yeah, it's a good chance to get some points. Is it? Where? They are flying at the minute. Absolutely flying. And our record against Wycombe is horrendous. And as always, we have an opposition fan to help talk us through what we should expect for this game. Today, I have a very, very knowledgeable fan called James. Really in-depth analysis coming up. I'm excited to share this with you. But first things first, mate, say hello.
Hiya, thanks for having me on, really appreciate it. Really looking forward to previewing the game on Saturday, really looking forward to the game itself, and hopefully over the next 15 or 20 minutes, I'll provide some valuable insights.
Lovely stuff. It's great to have you on. Now listen, we always start with the same question. Your summer transfer window. What's your opinion of that? Because looking at it as a Rovers fan, Humphreys, Morley, Onyedinma, Backetson, unbelievable signings. But what does it feel like for you?
I think most Wycombe fans will say that the Chairboys transfer window was supremely positive. As a club historically with limited resources, we've had to find that player from non-league, the gem in League 2 who can finally blossom at Wycombe. So it's been really nice, now we have a little bit more money, to sign some proven League 1 performers and see the ownership back the manager. To run through a few of them now. Daniel Udo. Double digits in League 1, twice with Shrewsbury over his 5-year spell at the club. He's already fitted in so well. A natural striker, natural finishing ability. And he may not feature on Saturday due to a concussion suffered against Cambridge, so you may have got lucky with that one. You've got Tyreek Backinson. You've got Daniel Harvey, a key component to the MK Dons side that got to the playoffs in 2022. And he's versatile. He can play on the left of a back 3. He can play at left back in a 4. And he's already shown some real quality, especially going forward with his delivery in the final third. You've got Aaron Morley, a seasoned performer at this level with Bolton, who's been a victim of Bolton's squad just progressing a little bit too quickly. They've just outgrown him. This loan spell has a chance to prove himself, and he looks to have real quality already, picking out passes from deep and unlocking defences. You have Alex Hartridge. He signed from Exeter, can play left back and centre half, and he did have a difficult start, making a couple of mistakes, but he's looked a lot more comfortable at left back and has settled in really well. Aston Villa on Tuesday was by far his best performance in a Wycombe shirt, and kept Leon Bailey, who we know is a very good player, very quiet. You've then got the promising young talent. You've got Caleb Taylor, the rock at the back. He's on loan from West Brom. You've got Cameron Humphreys, dubbed the Suffolk Messi. Ipswich fans were confused how he ended up in League 1. And I'll be honest, we are too. Always moving, driving forward, great passing, great close control. And he's already popped up with some clutch goals. Against Rotherham, really kicking off our season with that 2-0 win. And the winner against Cambridge. A late goal on about 85 minutes, which could come crucial at the end of the season. We haven't seen loads of Gideon Kodua. Gibraltar international Jayden Bartolo, or Brodie Pert. Goalkeeper Nathan Bishop on loan from Sunderland is out for a while with an injury, and Shamal George came in on deadline day as our number 2. Not much to say about those 5. Our final signing of the window was Fred Onyedinma, who actually signed after the window closed as a free agent. He's now in his 4th spell at the club, spanning over a 10-year period, so he's definitely a fan favourite. He played in the Premier League last season with Luton, so comes with real pedigree, and made his debut, or 4th debut, on Tuesday against Villa off of the bench. He played against Haaland last season against Man City, so maybe not quite the same challenge for him this season, and he did look really bright on Tuesday. Departures were few and far between. The key losses were centre-back Chris Farino to Bolton, who is a top-end League One performer, and it was very disappointing to lose him, but also to lose him on a free. And he started really well at Bolton. I'm not surprised. He's a great player. We have conceded a few more goals since he left, so maybe it is down to him, but he has been replaced well by Caleb Taylor, Alex Hartridge, and young talent Declan Skura. Coming through our B-team system, on loan at Ebbsfleet last season, really impressed in the National League, and has come in this season and has taken to League One like a duck to water. We also lost Freddie Potts, our player of the season last year, who returned to his parent club West Ham. He is a special talent and was clearly too good to be playing in League One, and I'm not surprised that he's now impressing on loan in the Championship with Portsmouth. I would rate our transfer window on a grade about an A. A really, really solid transfer window.
An 8 out of 10? If it was my transfer window, I would be saying it's at least a 9 or a 10. You've signed experience where you need experience, youth where you need youth, promising players. You've got players that you've never heard of that come up and actually do well, and you can sell them on for a profit. Your business mode is incredible. We don't like you guys very much, but I respect what you do. An 8 out of 10, that's low for me. Next question then, talk me through your start to the season, because I know that you're unbeaten in the league since the 24th of August, which is quite scary because you're also the only team really that scored 2 in each game. And with our defending at the minute, 9 goals conceded in 3 games, I'm a little bit worried. But before we get to score predictions, talk me through your start to the season.
I think the word to describe Wycombe's start to the season is solid. 11th place, 10 points. We've played a game less than most above us, so probably net about 7th or 8th. Our start to the season has been really challenging, fixture-wise. We played Wrexham and Birmingham in our first 2 games, potentially the top 2 come the end of the season, and I believe the top 2 at the moment in the league. That was back-to-back 3-2 defeats. Very frustrating, especially against Wrexham, who were weakened at the time. They had key players out, and defensive mistakes cost us the game. Birmingham game, slightly different. They just got through with their quality at the end. They're a level above, and I expect them to probably win the league pretty comfortably this season. Since then, our league form has been strong, unbeaten in the last month and in our last 4 games. We had an impressive victory against Steve Evans' Rotherham, which kicked off our season and really showed some glimpses of what this squad can offer, blowing away a good Rotherham team. A point against managerless Blackpool was fortunate, but crucial, and then we have fully deserved victories against respectfully weaker opposition in Northampton and Cambridge, and these were big wins. I expect this squad to be in and about the top 6 come May, and I'm sure that's the aim inside the building as well. To achieve this, we will need to compete against the top sides, as we have, but also grind out the results against the sides towards the bottom. Humphreys' late winner against Cambridge is a sign of the quality we will need to bring to the battle this season. In cup competitions, the Bristol Street Motors Trophy has seen some strong performances and some strong teams put out by Matt Bloomfield. There's no throwing away this competition. We did reach the final after all last year. We did lose to Peterborough, we don't need to mention that. This year, it's included a thriller, a 5-3 victory against Brighton under 21s last week. One thing we haven't lacked this season is goals, so cue the inevitable 0-0 on Saturday. Our Carabao Cup journey culminated in a 3rd round exit against Aston Villa on Tuesday. We knocked out Northampton in round 1, and then Championship side Swansea in round 2. A very impressive performance, and it was a defensive masterclass. Tuesday was hugely impressive. It was against some great players in that Villa side. Barkley, Buendia, Duran, Bailey, Nedljikovic were all in the Villa side, so it was strong. We had many chances to win it ourselves, conceded an unfortunate penalty, which when watching back was a blatant dive from John Duran, but that is what it is, that's how the game goes. The game was decided in both boxes after all, and a little bit more quality won Aston Villa the game. But we had impressive performances all over the pitch. If I had to pick out 5, I'd go with Hartridge, Scowen, McCleary, David Wheeler, and Richard Kone. And this provides huge optimism for the rest of the season.
Mate, I think you should be optimistic because you've been doing really, really well. I don't think it's any, you don't need to be embarrassed about losing to Birmingham or Wrexham at the minute. They're absolutely flying. The budgets are through the roof. I think even to hold your own against them, scoring 2 goals is is great. Maybe a bit of game management might need to come into that, but they're flying at the minute and they're well up for it. So yeah, I'm impressed with your start to the season, and only losing 2 games in the league that's this hard is really impressive. Moving on to your danger man then. Who's the danger man for the Chairboys? Now, there are a few big hitters. There's one very impressive story in there as well. I'm pretty sure you're going to go with him, but let me know who you think is the danger man for you.
I think the player that Bristol Rovers need to watch out for this weekend in the Wycombe team is Richard Kone. I'm sure most League One fans at this point are now aware of his amazing story. Kicked out of his home in his own country for coming out as gay to his parents, came to the UK, played in the Homeless World Cup, had an unsuccessful trial at Colchester due to visa issues, went to Tier 9 with Athletic Newham in the Essex Senior League, and scored over 100 goals, at about 1 goal a game, which is a crazy record. We picked him up from that level last year, and the 21-year-old has already established himself as a top-end League One striker, and he's improving all the time. 4 goals already this season, one of which came in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday. A good finish right at the death against Villa. He's a great striker of the ball, he's got a natural finishing ability. Quick, direct, and has improved his all-around play as well. He can hold the ball up, he's got good strength. Expect him to cause a lot of defenders problems this season, and if he carries on at this rate, he may not be with us for very long. So I probably shouldn't have mentioned him on here. Don't buy him.
That's exactly the player I thought you were going to mention. I mean, his story is as impressive as his goal-scoring record, to be honest. I think to face adversity like that and come over to the country and then still slap net is ridiculous. 21 years of age, yeah, you probably shouldn't have mentioned him, but I know that big clubs are already looking at him. And I wouldn't be surprised within maybe next transfer window or the one after that if maybe he takes that step up. I will reverse the question then. Are there any players at the gas that you're worried about? I'm going to go slightly worried about because we're in some very bad form. But is there anyone that you look and think, we need to keep them quiet, potentially?
There are a few players in this Bristol Rovers team that I am slightly concerned about this weekend from a Wycombe perspective. I know you had someone on here the other week that said Rovers have one of the worst squads in the league quality-wise. I would fundamentally disagree with that. I was very impressed by your transfer business, and I, like most, probably expected you guys to push on a little bit more this season than maybe you have so far. Isaac Hutchinson is a top player. You do not get 27 goal contributions in League 2 without having some serious quality. I've done my best to read up on him, and maybe he hasn't quite adapted the same to League 1 level yet, but I'm sure he'll come very good. Clinton Mola is a solid defender. He seems to have started well for you guys and improved a lot from last year. He was slightly unreliable at times for Reading last year, and he didn't play well in our league fixture against the Royals. However, he does have some real quality at this level. Ruel Sotiriou, a proven goal scorer at this level, and I'd back him to get a goal this weekend. However, my key player for Rovers has to be Omocheri. Direct, powerful, skillful, adds pace and tenacity. I am aware his returns this season have been hit and miss, but he's clearly got raw talent with some underlying inconsistency. Gatlin O'Donkor impressed off the bench at the weekend. He may be in line to get some more minutes. Maybe Omocheri won't even start. I don't know. But he did get a goal against us last season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he causes some serious trouble again this weekend.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so glad. Fundamentally disagree. I love that because the players that we have on paper are quality. We just haven't knitted it together very well yet this season. And I think that when that clicks, we could be a scary entity going forward. It just is the question when that clicks, if it clicks. Listen, you've mentioned Hutchinson. Anyone who knows me, I'm a big advocate for Hutchinson. I think we need to be patient. You've mentioned Ruel Sotiriou, absolute baller on his day. Clinton Mola has been our best player this season. Absolutely ridiculous in that back line, so good. You've mentioned Promise Omocheri, raw talent but inconsistent. I think that's really true and a good way to describe him. And then you also mentioned Gatlin O'Donkor, who I actually think will start this weekend. A very well taken goal. I'm really impressed with what you said there. I know you've listed a lot of players, but absolutely, definitely, we don't have the worst or one of the worst squads in the league by far. So I don't even want to ask this question, but score predictions. Now, I'll just do mine because I always try and be optimistic. I always try and look and think at, patterns of play that we might cause problems tactically, physically. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I do not see it at all how we're going to win this game. You haven't scored less than 2 goals in a league fixture this season. And I don't think we're going to score 3 to win it. I think we're going to lose 2-1. Tell me how we're going to win this game. We are not great going forward. We are not great defending at the minute. It's got 2-1 Wycombe written all over it. I think goal scorers, Gatlin O'Donkor will score for us. And I think Tafazoli, header from a corner. And Richard Kone, you just can't back against him. James, I'll ask you, mate. Goal scorers and match prediction for the weekend.
Wycombe do have a great record in this fixture. We've won the last 5 meetings between the sides and we're unbeaten in the last 7. However, they are usually decided by the odd goal, so this could tip, of course, at any point. I was originally worried about energy levels going into this game. The players, the staff, the fans put a huge effort into Tuesday night, and we pushed Aston Villa close. And we did see this again this season. After victory against Swansea, a few days later against Blackpool, we did have a really slow start energy-wise, after putting in a lot of effort in that League Cup game. However, we have a strong squad with depth in all positions. I expect Aaron Morley, Cam Humphreys, McCleary, Kone, Taylor, Grimmer and Harvey all to come in from the start, which is a scary group of players to come into a side. I hope the energy levels can stay where they were at on Tuesday. This is a side, after all, that thrives off quick combinations, counters, balls in the channel and a clever, energetic press. I am aware of Rovers' quality, I've mentioned it already today. And the Mem is not an easy place to go if the fans are together and behind the side. In our 6 league games this season, we've scored exactly 2 goals in all of them. And I'll back that to continue here. 2-1 Wycombe. To score, I hugely rate Ruel Satiriou. He's off the mark for this season, and he got 11 last year in this division for Leyton Orient. He'll be my goal scorer for the Gas. For Wycombe, I'll go with McCleary to get 1. He's bright, he's energetic, he's got good skills, and he got significant joy up against Mola last season against Reading. Richard Kone to get the other. You can't bet against such a great player when he's in good form. I hope it's a great game, safe trip to all the Chairboys fans travelling, and thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you're confident. It's probably one of the only teams you'd want to come to right now to get a victory. We just don't look good. We don't look cohesive. Great word. We don't look connected at the minute, and that's a real problem against a well-established side like Wycombe. You know what you're doing. Your identity is strong. I just don't see anything other than a Wycombe win. Anyway, let's be positive. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. That insight was top notch. I'm talking like professional level. It was absolutely brilliant. You really took care with what you were saying as well, and you really kind of relished the opportunity to be able to speak about your club. I'm really grateful. That was absolutely superb. Thank you so much, mate. I'm really grateful. And other than this weekend, I hope you go on to have a good season. Guys, follow him up. I've left the socials on the screen and in the description. As for me, you know where to find me. So all that's left to say is I will see you in the next one. And as always, at the gas.